I posted a video recently asking married people how they coped with leaving their mother and father's house to cleave to their spouses. And I realized that it's a major struggle for some people. In fact, some people are still struggling with it. People who have even spent years in marriage. In fact, one of the respondents said to me that she has to leave home every morning to go to her mother's house to eat breakfast before going to work. So it's a major struggle, this living and cleaving thing, and that is what I've chosen to talk about today. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Renner. This is Finding Love, where I talk about love, marriage, and relationships. Okay? Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, maybe you're new and you're first timer, kindly subscribe, and click the notification bell so that whenever I upload a video, you get notified. Also, like this video, share it, give me a thumbs up when if you like it, and then join the conversation. Send me a comment, leave me a comment, let me know if you enjoyed the video. I'll be right back. Welcome back. For some people, it's not only family they get to leave. They get to leave work, their jobs, businesses, countries, cities, careers to cleave to their spouses. So for today, I'll not only be talking about the physical aspect of living and cleaving, but the mental aspect of living and cleaving. And I will be reading Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, KJV. It says, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave to his wife, and they shall be one flesh." So since we're talking about the mental aspect of living and cleaving, let us define what it means to live. So living means that you forsake the dependence, security, and comfort of your immediate family. Say your siblings, your parents, or any authority figure, then channeling that into your marriage, seeing your spouse and your relationship as the number one priority relationship. It also means that you are reprioritizing your friendship with old friends, romantic relationships, or even certain people that you hold dearly. Now, you're not cutting ties with these people. It just means that you're making sure to make it obvious that you are now involved in a relationship that has taken the number one priority in your life. Let's quickly look at the different aspects of living. Number one, living family of origin. It's important that you prioritize your spouse, your relationship with your spouse, as the primary relationship, while that of your family and friends as the secondary relationship. Number two, living friendships. Your relationship with your spouse must be of the highest priority, must be the most important relationship in your life, while a relationship with your old friends or new friends must take a lesser priority. Number three, living past romantic relationships and opposite sex relationships. Now, what do I mean by this? A lot of people ask me, as a married person, can I still be friends with an opposite sex friend, or can I still be friends with my ex? Now, my answer is that's up to you, really, because as much as possible, I like people to deal with their conscience when it comes to issues like this. Now, but then I would advise you, if at all you want to maintain friendship with an opposite sex when you're married, make sure that your spouse is involved in the relationship. Make sure that your spouse is aware of who it is that you're friends with. Don't nurture this relationship apart from your spouse. Let them be fully involved, and then be honest with yourself. Be sure that within yourself you do not have any interest or desire to have any relationship more than just friends with them. And also, if be sure that that's the same way they feel, because there are certain people that, because you feel, I don't like this person that way, and then you're oblivious to the fact that they might like you a certain way different from your normal friendship. Okay, so be honest with yourself, be honest with your spouse on the level of the relationship that you have with this person. Me personally, I usually advise people, cut ties with an ex. There's no need trying to bring them back into your life when you're married. However, certain people do, businesses with their exes, seek favors from their exes, and I do not necessarily have any opinion about such people or such things. Like I said before, I leave it to your conscience. Be sure that it is not more than just friends on both sides. So don't be oblivious. Be sensitive to the fact that, I might not like this person this way anymore, but they still like me this way, and that's so important. That's where, you need to involve your spouse. If you need to cut ties with them fully, you need to cut ties with them fully. So it's up to you, really. Let me share an example with you. So I was watching a series, Love Like This, yes, on Indani TV. I really love that series. So there was a guy that was asking a girl out, or they started dating. Then he noticed that there was a guy that was always hanging around her. And she would say, oh, he's my friend, he's my bestie, we do stuff together, I'm his manager, this and that. She always just looked for a way to keep her boyfriend at ease about the relationship. However, the boyfriend was getting a certain vibe, and really it's always the spouse that gets the vibe from this person you claim is just your friend. He was getting a certain vibe from that one, indicating that, oh, I like this girl more than, just being friends. But the girl didn't see it. So at some point, she and the boyfriend had an issue, and then she related the issue to this best friend of hers. And after relating the issue, the guy attempted to kiss her. And then she realized that, that means my boyfriend was right all along. This guy actually wanted more than just friends. Like, he always liked me, So that brings me back to what I was saying before. Be sensitive, even if you intend to keep, certain exes or certain opposite sex friends in your in your circle. Make sure that the feeling is mutual. Oh, I don't like this person that way anymore, and that is how they feel about me. Okay, because to be honest, it can also be very harmful to your spouse. But I'll just leave it there. Number 4, living your single lifestyle. Okay, so many of the lifestyles that we adopted, practice as singles become, sometimes become unhealthy for marriage, sometimes do not work for marriage. So coming into marriage means that you might have to change your single mentality into accommodating, being a couple. Now, what do I mean? I remember that as a single girl, then I was comfortable, eating out, buying food, because I was always on the road, modeling and all of that. But when I met my husband, I realized that would not work. I had to be the cooking type because he liked home cooked food. So I had to learn some things on YouTube. I had to learn from my mom. I had to just be the kitchen woman. Okay, now getting married means that you're ready to compromise. You're ready to set aside things that, what's the word I'm looking for now? Set aside things that you're somewhat comfortable with to adjust to something that you might not necessarily be comfortable with, as long as it works for the marriage. So it's no longer about you, it's about what works for the marriage. Okay, so if you're the type of person that likes to procrastinate, maybe you pile up dishes or pile up clothes, and you see that your spouse might not like such, you might just have to stop that habit, unlearn that habit, and relearn something that might work for the marriage. Okay, so that is what it means to live, that single lifestyle. Number 5, living past emotional baggage. Now, if you know of any emotional issue that you might be dealing with that might be harmful or unhealthy for your marriage, it's important that you seek a counselor's help or tell it to your spouse to be, so that you can work through it together. A lot of people carry past emotional baggage into their marriage, and then the relationship becomes toxic. The relationship becomes unbearable for each other. Your spouse starts to deal with things that they do not know about or do not understand. So it's important that you tell them if you have issues like this, even before you get married. Let them know what they're dealing with. If it's something that they cannot manage, they step down. If it's something that they can walk through with you, they do. And one of these examples would be soul ties. I will discuss more on soul ties, in one of my videos. But soul ties involves, some form of emotional, spiritual, physical attachment to a certain ex. Okay, I'll talk about it. And this is a problem in a lot of marriages, soul ties from past relationships. Okay, so if you have emotional issues that you feel that you need to sort out, some of these emotional issues could be trust issues, insecurities, low self-esteem, and the likes. It could be anything. It could even be fear, it could be anxiety, it could be mental issues, it could be anything. But any issue that that is like an emotional baggage from the past, it could even be from your family background. It might not even be an ex, issues with an ex. It just might be something from your background, how you grew up, is something that you want to make sure that you discuss with your spouse so that they can walk through with you or decide, oh, you know what, can I be with this person, or what can we do? Should we see a therapist? You know, should we talk to a pastor? You know, things like that. So it's so important that you leave, you know, certain past emotional baggage. Okay, so we have talked about leaving a little bit, so let's talk about cleaving. Okay, so for cleaving, there are two major components: self and focus. Now, so number one, let's talk about self. Letting go of self and creating a mental identity is what it means to cleave. Now, what do I mean? 1 Corinthians 13 verse 7, I think, says, you know, love is not selfish. Okay, the reason why a lot of people are married and there is no oneness in their marriage is because one or both of them, you know, are still more devoted to self than the marriage reunion itself. So for us to love completely and be devoted to a marriage, it means that we have to take away selfishness, you know, and that's why I do not feel comfortable with that word self-love, because self and love are two opposite words. You cannot love completely if you love yourself. You cannot love another person completely if you love yourself. Okay, now that's not saying that you should not love yourself, but the Bible says that you and your spouse have become one flesh. So for you to actually show that you love yourself, you should actually love your spouse. You know, show love to your spouse. It means that you love yourself. Put your spouse first. Okay, so for us to completely kill selfishness, it means that we must love our spouse, cleave to our spouse. Okay, we must throw away selfishness. Love is not selfish. That's what one of the aspects of what it means to cleave. Number two, cleaving requires focus, meaning bonding to your spouse. Okay, now what do I mean? It's important that you always remember that your spouse, your marriage is the most important relationship next to God. So if you're a married person, you want to ask yourself, do I put in a lot of effort to show my spouse that, you know, they are the most important person in my life? Or if you're a single person, you want to ask yourself, am I ready to someday, you know, forgo this high priority relationship in my life and focus and submit to my spouse as the number one and most important person in my life? Because it's so important, you know, to foster these relationships. It takes mutual effort. It takes, you know, oneness to completely devote yourself to focusing and bonding with your spouse. It's so important. Okay, so, and you know, it's important that you do these things as husbands and wives so that you grow together, you learn together, you bond together, and that is what it means to cleave. You know, you are not married to those other people. Yes, they're important in your life, but you also have to understand that your spouse is the most important person in your life after God. So you want to be sure that that is the position that they take and everyone sees it that way. Okay? Alright, so that's it for living and cleaving. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Please leave me a comment if you did, and do not forget to subscribe, share, and like this video. Thank you so much. I've been Renner. I'll see you in another video.